Hey there, good afternoon, evening, whatever it is that when you're watching this. I just want to take a few minutes and kind of give you the results of the survey, the first survey that we did about a week and a half ago, I guess it was, that we asked you to fill out a survey for us so that we could find out really kind of what is going on in the life of the church, the survey of how we're surviving through this whole COVID-19 crisis. I think it was 85 people that finished this survey. So that gives you a little bit of an idea of how many we had, so that's a decent sized portion of our congregation that was able to finish it. In fact, I'll just go ahead and say it now, and hopefully I'll say it at the end too and remind you. We have another survey that we have just started that talks about the reopening of our services to be able to do them on campus. So I would love for you to do that. If you have not done that yet, that's going to help us out a lot. You'll see it in the description of this video. So grab a hold of that after this is over. And if you could do that and have it to us by about whatever the Wednesday is of next week. Today is the 15th, so you do the math. I think it's the 20th. Does that sound right? That you could do that so that we can get those results to you as well. So let me just go ahead and get into some of this, and that'll give you some understanding of the responses that were given for this particular survey. First, I want to talk a little bit about the respondents, those who did actually make up this whole group that responded. As you can see, we had the vast majority were female, and so that kind of gives you a little bit of understanding of who that is. This also tells you the age group that were involved with this particular one. So it appears to me, in fact, I can't hardly even see this here. This is crazy. But it appears to me that most people are 40 and above, though we have some in all age brackets, at least as of adults, to that. Overwhelmingly, there was also those who were married were the ones who did it, but we had representation of all different types and phases of life that were a part of this. So let's talk first about your responses to your work and your financial situation. What are things like for you right now? You can see that the question that we asked was about is your job situation been completely disrupted? The overwhelming majority said that it has not been. My guess is that that would be in part because we did have a lot of folks who are of retirement age that happened to give this particular survey or fill out this particular survey. But overall, we've got some that are greatly have been interrupted. That look like to me that those who are in the service industry were especially a part of that part. But overall, people are kind of across the board. We've got some great significant that have said not really. There hasn't been that great of a disruption. That also means that some folks have heard from that are working from home, or they are in maybe the first response folks that are they're still doing their job. So this kind of gives you a little bit about what people have experienced so far. How about when it comes to income? Because of this crisis, has your income been severely or significantly disrupted? Overall, most of you have said, no, it has not been. Now, there are some that have said that it has been completely or is a significant disruption to them. But overall, that's kind of the responses that we've gotten, that people overall haven't seen a great impact to them financially, at least those, again, who the 85 who filled out the responses to this. Well, how much stress then has this caused you to during your right now concerning your personal finances? Again, you can see the responses to this. It kind of flattens out some that we overall people haven't had extreme stress over this, but there is at least some in the middle, moderate stress to the situation. I would imagine that for many of those who did respond, that perhaps right now everything is okay, but you're wondering about your future. What is the stock market going to do? All of those sort of things that I think would add some amount of stress to how you the honesty of how you responded to that and the stress that you're feeling from that. Next, we asked the question of emotional response. What is the emotional response to this crisis, and how are you managing some of the feelings that you're having? Are you sensing stress? Now, one of the things that I have to admit is I am not real good always at knowing my own stress level. I can be in stress and not even realize it, or in the middle of a crisis. In fact, the truth is a crisis in general is going to bring on stress. That's just the nature of the beast. But we're not always good at identifying that. And but when we're feeling irritated, or maybe more quickly irritated, or we're not sleeping quite as well as we are, those are some basic indicators of feeling some stress. Anyhow, let's talk about some of the emotional responses that you all gave to this. The question, or the statement, it is a question. As of this week, how confident are you about the way you and your household are responding to the crisis? Overwhelmingly, everyone was saying that they're confident or even extremely confident to the way that you all are doing and handling this. That is great. Now, I've got to tell you something. I don't know who all filled this out. Moms and dads, one of the things we are hearing from some of your kids, teenage kids, is that they're experiencing some of this stress. And as we have been talking to them and having some conversations with them, they're noticing some of the stress that is there in the household right now. So I would encourage you to take a moment and maybe talk to your kids and say, hey, we're going to make it through this crisis that's going on, and just kind of reassuring them of that you as a family, you're going to be okay. So that might be a great conversation to have this evening or sometime soon with your kids. At the current time, how would you rate your physical health? Overwhelmingly, folks responded that physically they're doing great, or they're doing fine right now. That is awesome news that our congregation, those who responded, that's the way that it's going for them right now. Those of you that are, whether you filled out this survey or not, those of you that are going through some physical times, I just want you to know, or some things going on in your bodies and physically right now and your health. I just want to take a moment and just say, hey, we're praying for you. And if you have shared with us what's going on, we especially know how to pray. If something is going on, would you take a moment and maybe email me and let me know how things are going for you. In the description, you'll see my email address will be available to you, you can just talk to me a little bit and let me know what's going on, because we're praying for you, and we want to continue to do that. Let's continue. So this particular question combines this particular slide combines a couple of questions that we had that talked really about some of the crisis. When I am going through a crisis, how do I respond to that? And just in general, how do you experience peace? And overwhelmingly, you all said that the number one way is through God and finding peace with God. Let me encourage you to continue to do that. Some of the best ways that I find peace is to take a scripture and just kind of meditate on that scripture. Now, what meditation is just taking some time and just rolling that particular thought over and over in your mind. Sometimes a scripture is too long. Just one thought out of a scripture can bring such a sense of peace when you begin to meditate on that. Take your eyes off of what is being said around you, the things that are being posted on social media. Take your eyes off of that and let's put them on to the promise of God. Now, I realize that I'm gone from just sharing with you information to preaching. I guess I can't help myself with that. Let's look at the next one. Is the levels of anxiety that you are personally feeling through this pandemic. We see kind of across the board different levels of anxiety, from very, very, I don't think anyone said no anxiety, but anywhere to some high anxiety. As I said earlier, in crisis, there is stress with that. There is a level of anxiety that's there. I would encourage you to take kind of an assessment of your life, maybe over the last month or two, maybe even the last day or two. How are you dealing with some of the stresses? The things that cause stress for me can be social media, because I see my friends that are posting all kinds of crazy things, all kinds of crazy even theories that are out there. My Christian friends are posting things that I think, what are you doing? One of the things that I was challenged by a few weeks ago was an article that I read by Ed Stetzer, who happens to be a church leader in the United States. And one of the things he said in this was that we Christians sometimes have been guilty of bearing false witness. I never thought about that when it came to how we deal with things we post on social media. We're taking half-truths and we're posting them like they're the gospel. Folks, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. There are other ways that we can talk about some things, and I see that going on, and sometimes I find my stress level just going higher and higher and higher, and I have to click off of some things. And let me be honest with you, I've had a couple folks that have had to just kind of silence them when they come to sending me some stuff in Messenger and things, because it's not bringing peace to me, and it's bringing stress to me instead. What I do know is I don't have all the answers. But what I do know is that there is someone that is greater than any doctor, greater than any politician, greater than any news media that is out there, that has my life, this world, under control. Isn't that the truth? To me, that's what brings peace more for me. Let's continue. I love this. I have people in my life I can count on no matter what happens, overwhelmingly. You've built into your life some people that you know that you can count on. That's good, healthy response to life. So you don't have to go through this crisis or any crisis on your own. Let's lean on each other, and let's continue to have that and build that into our lives. Then another response was, in the midst of this crisis, I feel very connected to my friends and family. And we see some who are not feeling very connected right now, all the way to the vast majority of you that are feeling quite connected. I would love to hear about how some of the ways that you are feeling connected, or how you are being connected to family and friends, especially while we're doing this social distancing. How has that worked for you? I would, if you've got some time and could share with me some of the things you're doing, I'd love to hear that. Just email me and let me know what that might be. Another one is this, is how isolated are you feeling today? Now, this was a survey that was completed about 8 or 9 days ago, so this is 2 or 3, could be up to 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks of people's response. But at that moment, the isolation factor for you all was, as you can see there, represented kind of across the board, anywhere from somewhat to really not at all, to a few that are feeling quite isolated. If that's you, if you're feeling isolated today, maybe you weren't then, but you are right now, or whatever the case is, let's walk through this thing together. You want to? Let's not try to make this on our own. That's not the way that we were created as human beings. We were created to be in connection with each other and with God. So let me continue. So how is Legacy responding to this crisis? So here's some of the things that you're going to find out. As of this week, how confident are you about the way your church is responding to COVID-19 crisis? Now, you can see there, I'm so glad, thank God that you said this. I hope you're being honest. I hope you can see that we are trying to make some wise decisions and trying to keep us all connected throughout all of this. Thank you for that strong response to that. Let's continue. I sense a deepened calling to serve and help others in this in times like this. You can see the responses that this is a church that loves to serve. And right now, we're kind of limited in some of the ways that we can serve, but you are called to that, and you sense that in your life. I want to encourage you to continue to do some of the things maybe that you're doing, or look for ways to be able to serve and share the love of Jesus with other people, and to serve those who are around you. What type of services are you prepared to offer right now? And you see the ones that are listed there. Number one, the number one thing that you all said was to be praying. Now, if you have not yet signed up for our Bless Every Home ministry that we have, that will help to help you in your prayer life, to be able to pray for people that are right in your neighborhood, do that today. This is a great way for you to be able to go right with this response that you have, is to go ahead and sign up for that. You'll see in the description our website. There's a link that's right on the description for being able to go there, and you'll see on that front page a place where you can sign up for Bless Every Home. What will happen is about, I think you can set it up for different days, but 5 days a week, you'll have someone that'll come, or not someone that'll come, but an email that'll come in your mailbox, and you'll be able to have where you can pray for the people by name who live right around you. So here's another one of those surveys was this. What are the basic needs that are going on right now let's see, what type of basic needs do you need the most for that? Most of you said right now, you're doing pretty fine. If there are some other areas that you can share with us that are going on, we have some ways to be able to help you. If there is a need, again, would you mind emailing me and just let me know what's going on? The phrase gets used a lot, but I think it's true. We're in this together. So why don't you check that out and just let us know. Then the last one is this, is what type of basic needs do you need the most help with at this time? And you can see there it goes across kind of the board what the responses that are given with all of those. So I just want to take a moment and say thank you. Thank you for your responses so far, even for watching this video. If you've made it all the way to the end, way to go. Make sure that you take some time, and the next day, if not today, if you could do it right now, if you've got a few minutes, to go ahead and look at the descriptions and see the link that's there for our next survey. This is our survey for us for when we start to reopen. We're working on a game plan, but I need your response and your input in knowing how and what steps we can take as we begin our process for reopening. So would you mind doing that? Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of this. I pray that God just blesses you, continues to keep his hand upon you, and that keeps your family safe. Let's go ahead and continue to be the light of Jesus to the world around us. Have a great day.